so the last video, video 6, is for solving non-linear inequality. So if I look at this is just a basic quadratic. It's not an equation because it has greater than and equal to. So for this type of questions, we have two main steps that I want you to follow. The first step is we need to find boundary points. By setting your function equal to 0. Getting a little bit tired. Get a spell. Okay, so after you set it equal to 0, we want to solve for x, right? So we got x plus 4 times x minus 2 equal to 0. So for this one, don't multiply it back up because it's already factored for you. So we can find x equal to -4 and x equal to 2. So those are your boundary points. And then using them, your second steps will be use the point to set number line and table. So we can use that to solve. This one just happened, the first number is small, but you need to think of it as from negative infinitive to positive infinitive. So the smaller number first, which is -4, and the next number is 2. And using that as a guide, we're going to set a table and write down the interval for each one of them. So this negative infinitive to -4, and then -4 to 2, and then 2 to infinitive, right? And looking at the original question, because it comes with equal, so we use brackets except for the infinitive ones. So if it has equal, then you use brackets. But if you have not the equal, just greater than or less than, then you use parentheses. And remember, like when we do the rational function, which is the one with the fractions, it's a little bit different from this one. You will set the top equal to 0 and the bottom equal to 0 to find the boundary points. And you have to be very careful and check for the denominator and make sure your answer doesn't include any number that will make the denominator equal to 0. So be careful with the domain part if it's a rational function, which is the one look like fractions, right? Okay, after we have that, we can do test points. So we need to find a point in the interval but not on the boundary, okay? So I'm going to try to find a number that's in here. So sometimes you're going to say -1, but you have to be careful. -1 is actually here. So you need to pick a right number in here. So -5 would be in here. An easy number in here could be a -1, 1, or even better would be 0. And then I can pick maybe 3 or 10 here. Just anything in the interval would be okay. So using that, we're going to plug into the original functions. We are going to have plug in a -5, and then adding a 4, and then minus a 2 is it greater than or equal to 0. So basically this is like a -1 times a -7, right? Is it greater than or equal to 0? +7 greater than or equal to 0. True or false? Positive number greater than 0 is true, so mean this part is part of my answer. Come with a bracket. And the second one, you plug in a 0. So let's see, a 0 plus 4, and then a 0 minus 2. Is it greater than or equal to 0? 4 times a -2 is a -8. A negative number greater than 0 is false. And sometimes people will do this, they plug it in and they say it's going to be a positive number times a negative number greater than or equal to 0. Negative number greater than or equal to 0 is false. So you can plug it in and then just tell me the sign. That would be acceptable also. The next one If I plug in a 3, so 3 plus 4 times 3 minus a 2 is it greater than or equal to 0? So basically I have a positive number 7 here, right? Times another positive 1. It will end up with a positive number greater than or equal to 0. This is also true. So this would be acceptable showing steps. So I also know this part is part of my solution. Again, come with a bracket. A lot of your question would be like true, false, false, true. Like they will skipping like that. So if you have multiple true or false like in a row, you want to double check it. So this number line is part of my answer for this inequality. And then they also ask for interval notation. So it would be this interval, negative infinity to negative 4 brackets union. The last interval, which is true, 2 to infinity. So that's the interval notation part of the answer. So I just show you a very simple example. So don't forget, like they can have more than 2 factors. For a polynomial, it could be a rational function with fractions. Again, fraction 1, you set the top equal to 0, set the bottom equal to 0, and just make sure your answer doesn't include any number that would make the denominator equal to 0. All right, thank you.